Welcome to our very first blogger news of 2021. We're back and re-energized, bringing you worldwide art news. I know you've missed me, but first, let's think outside the block. Like I mentioned in our last episode of 2020, the purpose of running an art platform is to make an impact with and for its community, being cohesive with our three pillars: democratizing the arts, collaborating between allies and agents in the arts, and presenting disruption in established ecosystem. I personally consider art a fifth power, ready to be part of the way to understand each other no matter the language you use, and present an effective and colorful worldwide revolution. You want examples? Here you have one. The Peruvian Artivist Archive. As a consequence of November's coup d'etat, more than 150 art expressions in poems, songs, performances, paintings, photography, amongst others, created by Peruvians from all over the globe, including United States, Germany, Spain, Great Britain, and inside the country from Piura, Cusco, Trujillo, and Lima, replied to our call. Dive into it, just a click away from our link in bio. So far in the first 22 days of this year, let me take you to the top art news. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, a stolen 16th century copy, of course, was discovered last Sunday, a few days ago. This is super fresh, super hot art news, in a Naples apartment, you heard me well, in Italy. The owner of the property, a 36-year-old man, has been arrested under suspicion of receiving stolen goods. The painting was taken from the Museum of San Domenico Maggiore, dated to be around 1508 to 13, is thought to be by Da Vinci's student, Girolamo Alibrandi. So artists, watch out who you're hiring or giving classes to. In our Believe It or Not section, New York art dealer Heli Namat was pardoned by Donald Trump. Hours before leaving office, former US President granted a pardon to Namat on Tuesday, again, super fresh news, who pleaded guilty to a federal gambling charge in 2014 and owned an entire floor of Trump Tower. In April 2014, Namat was sentenced to a year and a day in prison after pleading guilty to a federal charge. He was released from prison after serving 5 months. Namat, who reportedly spent over $21 million buying the entire 51st floor of Trump Tower in New York, was one of several suspects accused of playing a leadership role in a $100 million gambling and money laundering network. His Upper East Side gallery was raided and charges were brought against him and 33 associates. Namat, who was initially charged with racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy, and other crimes, pleaded guilty to a single charge of operating a gambling business. Spicy. I'll leave this open to discussion. Okay, art related directly to COVID-19. Here you have a news. Museums around the world are stepping up to be transformed into vaccination centers, like hubs. You heard me well. In England, London's Science Museum is expected to open up for vaccinations, as is the Black Country Living Museum in Dudley, while the Thackeray Museum of Medicine in Leeds has been vaccinating patients since December last year. In Italy, the Castello di Rivoli Museum of Contemporary Art outside Turin will become the first gallery in the country to be used as a vaccine center, according to the Art newspaper. My point here is, if they do want to receive and welcome more people sooner than later, they have to be part of the solution. And in this case, they want to open their spaces, but in contribution for and with its community. We open the participation of artists in this program with a very special commemoration to one of my favorite Peruvians, José Tola. Demon inside a human's body, and such character who has been part of Christie's and Sotheby's auctions. He passed away on 2019, but his colorful characters live amongst us. Special thanks to Ana Masías, José Tola's widow, for sharing with all our followers in this episode.
José Tola may be one of our greatest artists, a man who expressed the complexity and greatness of his personality through his art. His legacy as an artist and as a collector is colossal. Tola was an artist whose creativity was always overflowing every limit. He has left a visual testimony permeated with such a vitality that enriches our culture and society with his powerful imaginary. In person, he was shy and quiet, as many people remember. He really didn't like to talk, but he was, with very few people, talkative, funny, and deep. Tremendously reflective. He was kind of an art freak, to put it in some way. He knew everything about art and artists of all times. I miss a lot this kind of conversations because not so many people like to talk about art with this kind of passion, with a cultivated knowledge like Jose had. He was romantic and idealistic, like many of his generation. Everything that he lived, thought, did, read, and saw, in the end, in some ways, served as an inspiration for his artistic creation. He was eccentric. He had a life with painful events and complex periods, so he didn't judge anyone. He was generous, very creative, and spontaneous. Jose painted directly on the canvas without making sketches. I think he used to make so many sketches in his life that he, at the end, solved everything corresponding to the painting in his head. Sometimes I saw him moving his hand up and down or sideways, like doing this in the air. "What are you doing?" I asked him, and he responded that he was just thinking about how the brush stroke was going to be, la pincelada. One morning I even saw him doing this, but he was asleep. He said he didn't dream, but I think he used to dream himself painting. An important part of José's legacy to society is the creation of the Fundación José Tola de Habich, to which he donated his collection of 410 prints made by contemporary artists. He greatly admired the artists he collected and loved printmaking. He was familiar to every technique. He also donated 85 of his own pieces, among paintings, sculptures, printmaking, and so. At the beginning of 2020, without him, we did an exhibition at the Centro Cultural de la Beneficencia de Lima, and there were very beautiful moments with many displays of affection and admiration for José. A very special one for me was the discussion that brought together 3 brilliant speakers, and the atmosphere felt very familiar. There were so many people who admired and respected Tola's work. Most people can relate to such a great sensitivity. I think that in lots of ways we can all identify with him, with his life, his artwork, and his message. José Tola is a universal artist.
Drop your comment and tell me what do you love about the Tola. Plus, tomorrow in our Spanish program, Saturday noon, GMT -5, and the opening of the new season of the Construyendo el Arte, or Arte Construction, with Cuban curator Daniel Alfonso. Well, we're going to talk all about José Tola, so feel free to join us. I don't want to close this app without telling you a very powerful word, which is collaborate. Collaborate with artists, curators, collectors, and those projects who align with your brand, gallery, or yourself. Don't forget, united, we grow. Well, guys, that's everything for this week's episode. I really hope that you enjoy it, and I'll see you next Friday. Don't forget, our sales team is ready to assist you. Yes. And stay tuned, as we're gonna have a very special treat for buyers from the USA. Also, find us on Artsy platform, just a click away. Remember, share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop your comments, and spread some love. Keep safe, be a skeptic, question everything, please, and think outside the block.